And I think for people of color, while we don't have the same kind of emotional anxieties or racial anxieties that white people have with regards to racism, there is a still a particular kind of burden or exhaustion that those of us face. And this isn't to say that all BIPOC people are trying to do anti-racist work or that they should, but this is recognition that we're often going to be asked about it, even if that is something that we don't want. Um, and so in some ways that, particularly in our current moment, it leads to a kind of exhaustion, right? A kind of emotional exhaustion, emotional fatigue. And there's a brilliant scholar by the name of Elaine Geronimus, who's at the University of Michigan, who's developed and pioneered this concept called weathering. And what that is, it talks about the ways in which racial microaggressions continue to, how they harm Black, Indigenous, and other people of color from the inside out. There's an amazing article on NPR and called "This Racism." I think it's called "This Racism is Killing Me from the Inside," and it talks about how essentially because of the microaggressions you have to face every day, that your body stays in a higher elevated level of stress. Basically, that's what you maintain, and so your body's in a constant fight mode. And because of that, it eats away essentially at itself. And so things that scientists and doctors originally thought were contributing to early mortality rates of BIPOC people, were like health and well-being or diet. They're now able to determine and see that the living within the pervasive reality of a racist structure literally is harming us. It's emotionally harming us. It's physically harming us. And so because of that, what racial resilience does, it gives us a way to tend to that stuff. This notion of self-compassion is deeply powerful and effective for doing that kind of healing. So that we can either do this work that we feel called to do, the anti-racism training work, or so that we can continue to survive and flourish in the midst of the everydayness, right, of the racism that we encounter. And so for us, and for me in particular, this was a pretty seminal and an important point in the development of this process.